Parker makes $364,000 in gold after getting rookie operator to move Sluicifer. Parker, who had a lot of knowledge, kept showing off his accomplishments all these years. Not long ago, he did something even more amazing. He made $364,000 in gold by getting a new operator to move the Sluicifer. The project already owed a huge $15 million, and Parker didn't know how to get out of this mess. There were daily costs and pressing repairs that needed to be done. There was some hope in the idea of getting a $160 million payday in the Dominion, but there were many unknowns along the way. It became clear when he admitted that the whole thing was making him feel pretty worried. He felt a little uneasy for the first time in a few years. He wasn't alone, though, which was good. His team would be there for him no matter what. To save the working bodies, Tyson had to take on everything. He got permission to use the mine from Ken Tatlow and Stuart Schmidt, and then began the impossible job of making the experience great again. No one expected the first cut to be so bad, and it took a lot longer than anyone thought it would. As soon as Parker realized how important it was, the pressure rose. He thought Tyson would be able to get up soon. The determination of Parker stayed strong, even though the work to prepare the new spot was hard. He went on to say that while he was getting El Dorado ready, he thought he had a lot of time. But when he was getting the next plant pad ready, he realized he didn't. As Parker dealt with the problems at El Dorado, everyone was left wondering if his unwavering determination would help him get through the tough times and find the gold stores that could make his mining project a success. Parker and Tyson were both involved in the El Dorado. Moving the wash plant at the El Dorado cut was a huge task that turned some important events in Tyson's life. They had everything they needed except time, because the process had to be done by a certain date. The due date for this job was Sunday, and if it was completed successfully, it would be able to stay alive. The plot jumbled up money problems, practical issues, and the almost constant search for the jackpot at Dominion into a mess of problems that needed to be carefully handled. The financial situation added another level of difficulty to the story. The operation, which was already a financial puzzle, was done with the worry of possible bills and the costs of running the business. As I watch them, I can't help but wonder, will this smart move help them find the gold mines they were looking for? Or will it be a big mistake on the crazy road of gold mining? At some point in this nail-biting story, you couldn't help but wonder, would Parker Schnabel's huge risk pay off? Or would his growing financial responsibilities and practical problems make it impossible for him to reach his goal of finding a gold mine? Dominion is a world where gold rules and fortunes can change in an instant. Parker Schnabel found himself in a very bad spot. Now is the time for the dream of the unreachable gold to change. Along with it came hard times financially, so the business could stay open. The heat had almost made this area its home. It makes me wonder what it's like to be ruled over. The answer is as easy as the question, but it beautifully describes the harsh conditions these miners have to work in every day. The word Domian means sovereign, and the people who were looking for treasure buried in its land often tell it what its rules are. Another look at the area points to the harshness that is hidden by the light. Parker and his team's determination should definitely be praised. Recently, the weather has gone up, which has raised the bar for what is acceptable. This seemingly normal talk showed how hard these people's lives were. They had to work from dawn until dusk in the hot sun. The next step was to sluice there, but that wasn't official yet. As the thought of starting the sluicing process set in, there was a sense of excitement in the air. After some time, they said that sluicing wouldn't happen because they needed to get better at it first before moving the business. The team was eager to start sluicing, but first, they had to make some strategic choices. There was a lot of tension in the gold mining business because Tico, who was making efforts to make things run more smoothly, set a hard goal. As the order echoed through the mining site, the story unfolded quickly. Tico wanted the plant to begin buzzing before morning. The attention then turned to Tyson, whose scary job it was to move Sluicifer around on a pole that wasn't stable. Tyson had to make up Sluicifer out of a leaning stick he had lying around. The language used made it clear that the business was sloppy and rushed, even if no one knew how to make learning staff. Putting pressure on Tyson became an important part of the story, a major source of tension that gave the story more depth. To move the Sluicifer, you had to have a steady hand and a lot of skill that you learned over time. Tyson had to deal with a lack of experienced hands while working on a tough job. Alec and Liam helped out the last time, and it looked like they were going to drag Sluicifer while Evan Kurtz, who was just an operator and didn't know how to move a wash plant, moved Sluicifer. The moving of the wash plant was complicated by the fact that parts had to be slung up to the Sluicifer and then pulled down to the new pad by the 750. The main reason it was hard to do was because changing wash plants was hard to do when there were already few hands available. As Tyson and Evan took on the job of moving the pieces of Sluicifer to its new location, the story took an interesting turn. It wasn't just a jump that was being planned, it was a symbolic risk in the dangerous world of gold mining. Once Sluicifer was taken apart piece by piece, sharing could be seen as both a risky move and a game of chance. People who watched this story grow as a dynamic journey had to think about what would happen with the operation and the luck that was going on at the same time. Everything that was done in the world of gold mining had the power to change the whole course of the season, even Sluicifer's seemingly random jump. The 45-ton wash plant, Sluicifer, that held the promise of $364,000 in gold hung over their heads. Tyson and his team had to carefully move Sluicifer so that the process would go as planned. To get to its new wash plant pad, Sluicifer had to go up a steep ramp, which was hard to do because of the environment. Tyson used the 750 excavator, which was the best one on site at the time, to help carry the heavy Sluicifer up the hill because he knew it was a period piece. As the story goes on, there is an amazing scene of bravery as they try to get around their opponent. But behind it all is the dangerous operation. The shot was tense because of the way the land was angled and how rude the Washington plant was. The wash plant started to slowly but surely rise because Tyson knew how to use everything he had at the time in a strategic way. From the first few steps toward the wash plant, you could feel the stress in the story, and Tyson's main point made the already difficult task even harder. He said that his bucket would be used as a small wrench. He talked about how you need to be able to adapt and be creative when you run into problems you didn't expect. At this point, everyone is almost in pain from the fight and can feel the strain of the hard mental and physical work that needs to be done to get the Sluicifer where it needs to be. Tyson's smart use of the bucket as a makeshift crowbar showed how important it was to be able to think quickly and change to survive in the unpredictable world of gold mining. So the operation as a whole relied on the team, and how well they did in this last stage was crucial to achieving the overall goal of a successful season in the Dominion. If this last step is completed successfully, not only will the difficult task be over, but Parker Schnabel will also have the chance to reach his big season goal. The team's ability to deal with the difficulty of this important configuration determined whether the whole operation succeeded or failed. As soon as the work was done, the wash plant set firmly on the pad, giving everyone a sense of readiness and accomplishment. The construction of the conveyor and the hopper feeder was a big deal in and of itself. It was a clear sign that gold processing was about to start. After following this high-stakes operation through all of its changes and surprises, I couldn't help but feel satisfied. There was a promise of gold worth $364,000 off in the distance. The problems were solved, and now everyone was waiting for the next part of Parker Schnabel's story. This move could change everything for Parker. It could get him a big payday and help him beat the challenges of gold digging in Dominion. After finding $364,000 in gold, he was making smart decisions, like letting a new operator move the Sluicifer, which was the most important job. Using Sluicifer and Gold Rush has had a big effect on the show and the people who watch it. Sluicifer's demonstration of cutting-edge technology shows how the gold mining business has changed over time. The time was running out, and every second counted as they looked for the hard-to-find gold that would decide whether the mission succeeded or failed. Parker said he liked how the move was organized. After the rig move, the story went on to look at the day after. Everyone was so eager to hear the result that they stood on edge to listen. They knew that today's machine was the only one that could tell them how productive the whole season had been. The news of the golden sample led to both hope and disappointment. We called that sluicing. Parker was looking for a 5,000-ounce endonym to keep his business from going through a lot of trouble. He needed 300 ounces of water a week to get it. For the team, this was the last payment thanks to Parker's Vice, a 5,000-ounce season worth $364,000. After that, the count by the number of ounces showed that there was, in fact, a pileup that was different from the group's second season at the tender age of 17. Despite his youth, he exhibited remarkable prowess in the field of gold extraction and a diligent work ethic. Throughout the course of the seasons, audiences were privy to Parker's arduous ascent to prominence as a successful miner in the Yukon's Klondike region. Parker achieved the distinction of becoming the youngest mining foreman in the history of the Klondike during his time on the program. Since assuming control of the Big Nugget mine from his patriarch, John Schnabel, his mining operations have grown. Parker has confronted a multitude of obstacles, encompassing apparatus failures, severe weather circumstances, and the demands of managing a prosperous mining enterprise. Nevertheless, these trials have fortified him, and he now aspires to surpass his previous accomplishments by a significant margin. Parker Schnabel, known as the dirt nerd who keeps finding gold, has appeared on the television series Gold Rush since its inception in 2010. Even though he appeared in only a handful of episodes during the first season, he was well received. Although he is a novice miner, his determination to discover gold is unwavering. Fans still know very little about his personal life, despite the fact that he began appearing on the program when he was young and is notorious for his fiery temper and rough exterior. When Parker Schnabel was young, the gold rush had just begun. The initial emphasis of the program was on his grandfather, John, the proprietor of the Big Nugget mine in Alaska. In Season 2, however, John transferred control of the business to Parker. Parker has been an integral part of the program ever since. Parker Schnabel debuted on the television series Gold Rush in 2010. Even though he appeared in only a handful of episodes during the first season, he was well received. Although he is a novice miner, his determination to discover gold is unwavering. Fans still know very little about his personal life, despite the fact that he began appearing on the program when he was young and is notorious for his fiery temper and rough exterior. Surprising occurrences abound on the program, including encounters with wild animals and being shot at. As the series Gold Rush progresses, Parker Schnabel will undoubtedly find himself in increasingly dramatic circumstances, and the future is uncertain. Those who observe Gold Rush are aware of Parker Schnabel's achievements in the mines. His accomplishment has generated a substantial amount of wealth, particularly for an individual in their 20s. Although the precise amount is unknown, the prevailing consensus among individuals is that his net worth in 2020 was approximately $10 million. Parker Schnabel reinvests all of the profits into his mining enterprise, as opposed to keeping them all. He invests the funds in upgraded mining apparatus and processes. He stated in an interview that he invests his money in his mining work rather than frivolous items such as boats or expensive vehicles. Despite earning millions of dollars annually, he does not retain the entire amount for personal use. He employs a team, and while their precise remuneration remains undisclosed, it is probable that they amass a considerable fortune when they unearth substantial quantities of gold over the course of a season. Parker's grandfather, John Schnabel, died in 2016 at the age of 96. He passed away while sound asleep. Parker expressed gratitude on Twitter for the support of his followers following his passing, writing, "John led an extraordinary life and was truly unique. I am relieved that the world was able to witness an extraordinary man." From 1984 until 2014, John had been engaged in active mining prior to his demise. Because John Schnabel enjoyed a prosperous career, his family did not encounter many financial obstacles. Prior to Parker's 1994 birth, funds had been allocated for his collegiate expenses. This meant he could attend virtually any university without financial constraints. Nevertheless, upon John's bequest of the family business to Parker, that college fund was put to use by Parker for mining rather than education. Parker abandoned his studies in favor of excavating, with the expectation of uncovering not only a hidden treasure but also an entire way of living. A substantial quantity of gold was discovered by Parker Schnabel and his team in the second season of Gold Rush. They obtained 34 ounces worth a total of $55,000. Parker was profoundly affected by this discovery, which motivated him to continue with the program and mining thereafter. Parker Schnabel estimated that the largest fragment of gold he had ever discovered weighed no more than a quarter ounce and was valued at between $400 and $500. He elaborated that it is uncommon to discover gems of that size and that the gold industry has undergone significant transformations since his grandfather began working in it in the 1980s. His grandfather used to discover larger gemstones in Haines, weighing between 3 and 4 ounces. Even though the nuggets are now smaller, Schnabel continues to discover an abundance of them during his mining excursions. As a result of Parker Schnabel's immense popularity during the gold rush, his producers decided to experiment with him in other areas. They devised the concept for a program in which James Level, the cinematographer, Parker, Rick Ness, Carla Ann, and themselves embark on an expedition along the Klondike Trail. As a result, the limited series Gold Rush Parker's Trail was produced. Parker Schnabel expects to discover 80,000 ounces of gold on his new property in Season 14, which is valued at a potential $160 million. However, acquiring that much treasure is difficult. The area, Dominion Creek, has been heavily mined in the past. Everyone has always been in a tremendous hurry to extract gold from the ground, says Schnabel. In a region characterized by rapid appreciation in cost, it indicates that mining is difficult and can be extremely expensive. Parker Schnabel is determined to improve this time around. A depth of approximately 40 feet must be dug by him and his crew in order to discover the gold. But it is expensive. Thousands of dollars must be added to the $15 million that he has already invested in the property. Further, this serves as the initial stage. This season, Parker is confronted with a critical choice that has the potential to alter the course of his mining career. Controversy surrounds whether he will venture into a new region rich in gold or opt for a more secure course of action. The outcome of Schnabel's decision is met with a mixture of anticipation and unpredictability among his admirers. Parker Schnabel aims to surpass his previous record of discovering 5,300 ounces of gold with a value of $9 million. He is now setting an even more ambitious goal, obtaining 6,000 ounces from the Indian River. Confronting the difficulties of the Klondike, he is resolute and perseverant. A great deal of determination is anticipated from him throughout this thrilling voyage. Audiences have witnessed Parker's leadership, determination, and capacity to make difficult decisions under duress throughout the course of the series. His reputation stems from the fact that he challenges himself and his crew to accomplish lofty objectives. Parker Schnabel, notwithstanding the fluctuations, has emerged as one of the most accomplished and widely recognized individuals in the film Gold Rush. Gold Rush featured a diverse workforce of crew members who were integral to Parker Schnabel's mining operations. Every member made a contribution that aligned with the initial plan for the project's success. What are your reflections on this particular occurrence of Parker's conquest? Additionally, for more thrilling adventures, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. Continue to be tuned for more.